Imagine you have two friends, let's call them person A and person B. And person A has done a presentation at work which they think hasn't gone very well. So they get in touch with person B to tell them about it. And person B says, well, you've never been very good at presentations, so I'm not really surprised that it didn't go well. Remember that time at university when you got a third because you didn't include all the information in the presentation? Also, remember that time that that you were at school and you stood up in front of all the class and the teachers and you said something really ridiculous and everybody was laughing at you and you got called names and they called you names for ages afterwards. Oh, I bet your boss has told everybody in the company. I bet everybody knows. That's really embarrassing. Yeah, I bet they've told everybody. I bet they've told the people above as well. Oh, you were going for that presentation, for that promotion, weren't you? Yeah, you're not going to get a promotion because you have to be good at presentations to get to that kind of senior level. Yeah, that's not a good situation. And yeah, like I said, I'm just not surprised that you thought it could go well. And yeah, I'm not surprised that it's gone wrong. How do we feel about person B? And also, how does person A feel after they've spoken to person B? So they had the difficulty at work as a get-go, and then stacked on top of that, they've got memories of previous experiences, everything that could go wrong in the future. Yeah, lots of layers of difficulties after speaking to person B. So they probably feel really awful. They probably feel completely demotivated, worried about what's going to happen next. They're going to lie in bed that night awake, worried about it. They'll probably feel panicky. They're not going to be in a good place at all. Now, let's bring person C into the picture. So person C is super kind, super compassionate, and they've known person A their whole lives. They know everything that they've been through, but they completely accept and love person A fully and just want everything to go well for them. So person C might say to person A, come round, let's have a cup of tea, let's talk about how you're feeling. And person A might then be able to talk about everything they feel, the frustration, the anger at themselves for forgetting things in the presentation, the sadness, the worry. They might have a really good cry and they just really get it all out with person C. And person makes space for it all. They listen, they're kind, they're compassionate, they're caring. They let them have a good cry and pass the tissues. Then maybe later that evening they send them a text to make sure that they're okay. And maybe even the next day they get in touch again and drop around some flowers. So how does person A feel after being with person C? Probably still not great. They're probably still concerned about the presentation. And they'll probably still think about it a little bit more. But they won't feel as beaten up as they do after talking to person B. So after person B, they're really slammed with everything, really reminded of everything that's gone wrong in the past, all the worries and concerns about things that are going to go wrong in the future. Person B was harsh. Person A doesn't feel that great anymore. Now, have you ever been person B? And I'm not talking now about being person B to other people. I'm talking here about being person B to yourself. So, have you ever had a scenario when maybe you have bumped the car and your person B steps in and says, oh, remember the last crash that you have? You're an awful driver. The person whose car it is going to be really, really angry and probably have a go at you in front of everybody in the street. Or maybe you've shouted at one of your children and your person B says, you're always losing your temper with the kids. You're a terrible mother. All the other mothers we know seem to be really calm and super kind all the time when the kid's being naughty, but not you. You lose it a lot. You're probably messing up your children in the process. So if your mind is anything like my mind or the people who I've met along the way, their minds, then you'll have your own person B. And we might call person B the inner critic. And this inner critic seems to turn up to all the parties, and has the loudest voice out of everybody. So whenever you've made a mistake, whenever anything's gone wrong, person B is there and reminding you of everything that's gone wrong in the past and everything that could go wrong in the future. Person B might be as a result of other people in your lives, maybe teachers, maybe even parents, friends, siblings that have said stuff to you in the past. Or person B is very often a danger spotter, looking out for things that could go wrong. For whatever reason they're there, and we don't feel good after the inner critic has come online and told us all of these things. Now, imagine that you can bring person C online, so that super best friend, compassion, self-compassion. Imagine that you have that voice with you a little bit more. In fact, imagine that we're not in COVID times anymore and person C, that super best friend, can just come and stay with you for a while and go out for drinks and go out for meals, and be there. And person C maybe name some of those difficult feelings that you're having, gives you the time and space to sit with feeling angry or sad or frustrated. And yeah, like we said, that super best friend checks in on you, just kind of notices how you're feeling, and still completely cares and is still completely kind. So self-compassion is one of the foundations of good mental health. But it's something that doesn't come easily. In fact, it can feel really alien for a lot of people to kind of be kind to yourself. But you would never imagine being person B to other people. So if I said to you, when I said to you, have you ever been person B? For a lot of people it would be, no, of course, I'd never speak to anybody like that. But you speak to yourself like that. We all do. And how do you feel afterwards? Not great. So one of the things to start developing self-compassion is, okay, you've got the inner critic, it can have their piece. We're not trying to get rid of it. It's been around for a long time. We're not trying to get rid of it or silence it. We can even say, thank you, you're reminding me of past experiences. You trying to protect me. Okay, thank you, I've heard you. But now imagine what that super best friend would say. And I say imagine because, like, yeah, it doesn't come naturally. So we almost have to, in the beginning stages, imagine what the super best friend would say. Imagine what that super compassionate voice would say. And then maybe in time, when it starts to feel more natural to listen to the super best friend, and when you observe how you feel after you've had that super best friend online versus the inner critic, then we might start doing it more often and doing this practice of self-compassion. It's really important for mental health, but it is a practice. Like I said, it is something that doesn't come naturally for a lot of people. So we have to imagine, first of all, what the super best friend might say, and then in time, maybe the super best friend will come online. Maybe not just as easily as the critic, unless you're the Dalai Lama. But if we practice it more, the better it'll feel and the more natural it will feel. So thank you for watching, and I hope you found that useful.